Hey, how's it going? Well, this is my first time recording something on YouTube in the way of a channel or whatever they call it, um, under a different um, name profile. I have some vocal recordings, me doing some performances, but I decided to put this one together for the sole purpose of capturing my um, journey through um, my journey through bariatric surgery. So you can call me Cass. I'm in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. For those of you that don't know where Mississauga is, it's just outside of Toronto. It's a suburb of Toronto in the province of Ontario. Um, and I am in my mid-30s. I'm professionally employed. I'm university educated. I'm a mother of one. I'm a single parent. I am unattached, single person, and I've decided at the age of 36 to change my life. I've been overweight pretty much all my life. Probably from the age of, let's say, 7, I started to pack the pounds on, and it's just gotten worse over time. I've had some success with weight loss schemes. Um, I've tried pretty much everything that you can think of. I've tried those cheesy cabbage soup diets. I've gone to Nutrisystem, Weight Watchers. I've done Atkins a couple times. Um, I had the greatest success actually with Atkins. I lost a tremendous amount of weight. I exercised enormously. I was pretty chronic for about a year and a half and kept my weight down. And then that was when I was living in Europe, and then I came back to Canada, and North American lifestyle kicked in. Um, Not enough time in a day, sedentary, high processed foods, breads, carbs, rice, highly addictive. At least for me, they were, and my weight loss success plummeted within a matter of, I think, 2 or 3 months. So I'm at a point now where I decided that I need to reevaluate myself and where I'm going. I lost my mom 2.5 years ago to colon cancer, and one of the messages she was sort of giving me towards the end of her life there was the fact that I need to look at losing weight. And even when she passed, it wasn't a major issue. It wasn't on my radar, losing weight. I mean, for the most part, sure, you have those moments of insecurity where you kind of feel like, I'm not that attractive, based on the status quo, right? But for me, I've had pretty good success finding mates, finding partners. So, even beyond that, outside of, finding people who find me attractive, I've found myself attractive. I found that, I have good assets in who I am, and, why shouldn't I feel attractive or have confidence? So I guess that too has caused me problems in some ways, in the sense that it hasn't forced me to look at my weight as the issue that perhaps it really is. So anyway, once my mom passed, I ended up getting a colonoscopy done a couple of years later, and I was speaking to the surgeon, and I talked to him. I said, what's up with weight and cancer, and does it really cause an increase in cancer? And he said, absolutely, there's a correlation. So it was at that point I just turned to him and I said, what, maybe I've been looking into gastric bypass surgery. Do you know anything about that? And he did, because he does a type of bariatric surgery. It's what is it, like a gastric sleeve, which is basically where they just take kind of the device, like a round kind of a device, and they kind of just cap it to the stomach, making the stomach a smaller size than it was before. So that's what he specializes in, but he doesn't do this type of what we call Roux-en-Y, RNY gastric bypass. So anyway, we had a very brief conversation about it, but he suggested highly that I look into it. He said that statistically it's a very promising procedure, and there's great success in it. We talked very briefly about safety, because obviously that's a concern. Am I going to die on the surgery?
surgery table, right? And at the end of the day, he said, you know what, go for it. You know, it's up to you, but definitely, you know, your weight is a significant concern, and you know, if this is something you're open to, then you know, I really think you should look into it. So when he told me that, I was on it. Actually, I think as soon as I left his office, I ended up calling my GP and getting an appointment for the following day. And I went in to see him, and I said to him, okay, you know what? This is what I want. This is what I want to do. And he didn't know very much about it. He was very honest about that in his thousands of years of practicing as a family doctor. He's never had a patient pursue that, but he's prepared to help me with it and do what he can. So yeah, so he hopped right on and got the paperwork filled out and sent it off to Toronto Western, which is the hub of this Gastric Bypass Bariatric program for the GTA, Greater Toronto Area. And then within about a month, about 4 weeks, I got a call, not a call, sorry, within about 4 weeks I got a call from my GP saying that yes, you know, they got information back and they had given you an orientation date, and they gave me the date and they said they'll be sending you information in the mail as well, so just keep an eye out. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. Yeah. So that takes us, I'm just looking at my dates here, that was back in August 2012. So, yeah, it was August 2012 is when I got connected, is when I went to my GP. And then September-ish, I got the call about the orientation, and now I'm looking at my dates. I had my orientation at the end of November. So, really, really quickly, because I don't want to take up too much time. Now, keep in mind, I'm in Toronto, so I mean, your experience might be different. And I can only speak through my experience through the Toronto Western Hospital program. But there's a series of appointments that you have to go through, and each appointment is information driven. It gives you lots of information about the surgery itself and the lifestyle that comes after the surgery. And then there's also elements to each appointment where they're assessing you, right? They're getting to know who you are, you know, your motivation, probability of success on the program, in the program, health conditions, health issues that maybe they need to connect you with other specialists prior to the surgery date. So that's sort of, you know, that's sort of the process straight through. That's the goal of all these different appointments. So I'm sitting at the end of end of March right now, going into April. It's April next week, 2013. So I'm just looking at what I've done so far by way of appointment. So the end of November, I had my group orientation, which is the first thing that you do. Then I had my social work at the end of January, so 2 months later, I had my social work appointment, and I also had my nurse practitioner initial assessment on that same day. So really, really quickly, the social work was like, who are you? Why are you doing this? That kind of stuff. It was okay, to be honest with you. The social worker, she was alright. There's a bit of an edge. Something about her that didn't feel comfortable, but at the end of the day, that's how that went. And then the nurse practitioner, I thought, was awesome. She was great. She was just really nice, really decent, really kind, very sensitive, very respectful, and very professional. I mean, I really felt comfortable having her sort of as my help that day. I hope I see her again. After that, in February, I had a nutrition class, so that was quite fun, and that was that was probably the most interesting I've had so far. And the idea of the nutrition class was where they actually sat you down with other people that are doing the program, and the intention there is to tell you what the surgery is all about. They had a nice diagram of your intestinal system and your stomach, and took you step by step into the incisions and the disconnections and the reconnections and what your small intestines do for digestion, your large intestines for digestion, your kidney functioning, all of that, and how all of those pieces are impacted by the surgery. I talked about food and nutrients and how they enter our bloodstream. And excuse me, it was awesome. It was really, really good. And really focused on the reality of the surgery, right? That this isn't just a matter of a snip snip. Hey, I can only eat one hundredth of a pizza now. I mean, it's a major surgery. It's quite significant, and it impacts you on not just quantity of food, but also absorption of vitamins. And who would have thought that? So obviously that has implications where you have to now take a ton of vitamins for the rest of your life, right? Because your body's not going to be able to absorb the same amount of nutrients as it did before because of the bypass. So these are all the things that you don't really know about before before you're sitting in that room. But I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Also, really got into how your diet's going to change and the focus of the food in your diet, and it's all about protein, to be honest. Highly nutrient-rich foods. Really, I think it's just great. It just makes sense. There's definitely a part of me that wished that I didn't have to do a surgery to be able to live this kind of a lifestyle. But, that's another story, and I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but that's another story. But anyway, it's great. It's great, and I really enjoyed that session. That was a nutrition class, and that was 3 hours. That was really good. And then a month and a half later, I was supposed to have the psychiatrist consultation. That's hilarious. That was supposed to be actually this week, end of March. But I got a call like 2.5 weeks ago asking me to come in sooner because they had an opening. So that was awesome. I really, really liked the fact that I was kind of streamlined in that way. That meant a lot to me. The second appointment, to be honest, was just, I don't know what to say. It seemed just bogus. To talk about yourself, who are you, why you want to do this, and the comments and the questions and the dialogue was so abstract to the commoner. But of course, to a psychiatrist, there's a reason for the questions that they ask. So I could sort of tell in some areas where she was going with her questioning. In other areas, I was probably almost falling asleep. I was so bored, and it didn't really make much sense to me, some of the things she was asking. But I gave her the answers, and I was honest, and there was nothing else I could do, really. It's honesty, right? So anyway, so that's that. And then I'm scheduled May 10th for a nutrition initial assessment. So honestly, I have absolutely no idea what that's about. I guess it is what it is, nutrition initial assessment. What do you eat? Yeah. So it'll be neat. It'll be interesting to have that one-on-one. So I don't know. That's been my journey so far with the program. I was actually a little antsy that I wanted to know what's next. What's next for me. So I actually contacted the social worker. At least I made an attempt. I sent her an email asking her, what appointments do I have left prior to the surgery date, right? Assuming that there is a structured, there's certain appointments that you must keep or that you must go through. However, I never heard back from her. That was about a week and a half ago, so I'm a little bit perturbed at that. Really annoyed that, you leave a message, you send a message, and you don't get a call. I'm not too keen on that. That's not something that I like. But, yeah, I don't know. I've gotten a whole bunch of paperwork, protein supplements, all this different stuff. You can probably not really see it that well. Eating for health after gastric bypass, that's really fascinating. I appreciate the paper because I like paper. I like to read and I like to study things and lie in bed and kind of process stuff in my head a few times over. So they certainly give you a lot of that. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just wanted to start this up because, um, the journey of weight loss. I mean, you turn on TV, you hear about weight loss, right? You hear about Nutrisystem and Jenny Craig and um, all of those that are out there, and they all seem to kind of run the same message, right? And they're all money making. And the ironic thing is that I've been on all of them. But with that, I'm still the person that I am today. And it was actually shocking to me when I went to the nurse practitioner meeting about a month and a half ago, and she weighed me and she measured like my height. And I said to her, I don't want to know what my weight is, because I don't know how long it's been since I weighed myself, but I said, I don't want to know what my weight is, but I would like to know what my BMI is. Can you tell me? And she told me that my BMI was 46. So a BMI of 46 is extraordinary. A BMI of 46, I think, is beyond what they call morbidly obese, or maybe it is morbidly obese. It's just usually not a number I see. I usually see 33 plus, and I never have encountered like 40s. So I'm in the upper end of 40s on my BMI, and that freaked me out. That really confused me. Again, keeping in mind what I said before, that I'm educated. I have skills. I try and have fun where I can. Um, you know, when I put on clothes, I feel good about myself. I mean, nowadays I've kind of reached a point in my size where I don't fit a lot of the stuff I used to fit in, so that does make me feel a little uncomfortable. But still, I don't have this constant fear of my body. You know, I know I could be better, but for me, it's really more about health. I started to have back pain a couple of years ago, and that freaked me out because it was debilitating. During Christmas time, I could barely walk, I could barely sit. It was insanity how bad my back was hurting. And I never experienced any ache like that. I then noticed, how tired I used to get. I was getting tired a lot more often. And then I have a child. I have an 11-year-old boy who is my world, and I realize that I need him to be in a world, in an active world. I need him to live in a home with an active parent. And at my current state, I'm not the best for him right now. I need to be fitter. I need to be stronger for him. I need to be more active for him. And it's not that I don't want to be active. It's not like I don't like being active. That's not it. It's just that my weight has sucked my energy. And I have an eating problem, plainly. I admit it. So I need help. And I've tried, and I've realized that it hasn't worked. And I'm now 37 with high blood pressure and a BMI of 46. And I need to change now, for me, but more importantly for my son, for us, for our future. Um, so I feel very strongly that I'm doing the right thing. I try and be very faith-driven, and I always pray when I think about this, because I want to make sure that it's the best thing for me and my boy, and whatever God tells me is usually the right thing. And I have a feeling that He wants me to be with my boy here for a long time. So I'm assuming that this would be the right thing to do. So anyway, so at this point, I just wanted to introduce myself and say hello. mark here. Um, what I want to capture isn't just the details of the procedure and medications and processes and stuff like that. That might be something a lot of people might be looking for on here. Of course, I'll mention it, but I actually want to, I value more the emotional piece to this, because it's not, this is a big deal. This is life-changing in many ways. And even just this process of me figuring out, if this is right, or me waiting for the next appointment, or me wondering, well, where am I going to be in 3 months from now? Like, these are all the things that I need to think about, and I need to process, and I find that this is my way. This hopefully will be my way of processing it. In the information that we got actually through Toronto Western, one thing they did say is maybe start a blog, or a video blog or something like that to kind of chart your journey through the process. And I thought, at the time I thought that was novel, but I didn't see myself doing it. But after browsing on YouTube and seeing that other people have done it, I think there's benefit to it. I certainly got a lot out of watching some of the other blogs on here that went through the TWH program, their journey, and connecting with people on Twitter who had gone through gastric bypass, and hearing their experiences and where they're at now 2 months later, and all of that. It helped me a lot. So if my video blogs can help you folks out there that are interested in this, I'm ecstatic. I'm thrilled. So anyway, I'm going to be talking a lot about the feelings and the processes, the emotional processes, all of that kind of stuff through this journey, in as much as the other stuff. Because I've gone through, it seems, most of the appointments already, I don't really have that much more to say about what I've done. All I have right now, as I said, is the initial, the initial nutritional assessment. Yeah, something like that. Sorry. The nutritional assessment, initial nutritional assessment. That's all that I have listed right now. I think tomorrow I'm going to call her directly and find out if there's anything else on tap for me, because again, I am a little anxious, which I think is fair. Anyway, I encourage you to write post messages or whatever if you have questions or comments, if there's anything you want me to talk about. I think I might talk a little bit more about myself in the next one when I have time. Anyway, 23 minutes. I'm going to go have tea with my boy. Oops, I've misjudged JD. Look at that. Anyway, I hope this was interesting, and take care.